So imagine you have a toolbox that has all the components you want for a standard, modern, smart SCADA solution. All you have to do is just grab the tools from the toolbox, plug and play, just bring them together like Legos, and there you have a fully working SCADA solution, much faster, much more efficiently, with way less money out of your pocket for engineering hours and fewer risks. This, my friend, is the idea behind SCADA by Enuda. Welcome. I'm super happy that you're here. And yeah, let's talk about the benefits. Hi again, Jan. Welcome. So, what are we going to talk about today?
We're going to talk about something that I'm very, very enthusiastic about. SCADA by Enuda. It's a new thing. It's an idea we got some months back, and now we know what it is, and we know where we're heading, and we also know the next step. So I would love to show you something of what it is and how we're thinking. That's
Hmm.
that's on the agenda for today.
Yeah, I love it. But first, um, shall we talk about what is SCADA for a tiny bit?
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. SCADA, that's one of these terms that, people throw around terms here and there and everywhere, and they assume that everybody knows that what we're talking about, which might not be the case. So SCADA is an acronym for supervision, control, and data acquisition. So essentially, there are three parts to a SCADA system. So it's a system that will supervise any industrial process, it will control the set process, and it will do data acquisition. So it means it will collect data for historical analysis and whatnot. So three parts of a SCADA system: supervision, control, and data acquisition. Hence the acronym SCADA.
Yeah, sounds like it's a pretty essential system in an industrial company.
It is in whatever industrial setting, what kind of manufacturing process you have, small one, mid-size, large one. It's an essential thing, and in utility companies as well, water, wastewater, energy, they all use it. So it's part of the core operations. Sure, absolutely
Hmm.
vital and important.
Yeah. And what's going on with SCADA right now? I think we're in
This-
a transition period
So
with some.
it's in a transition period for many reasons. It's all probably all driven by this horrible term that everybody talks about, digital transformation. Again, one of those terms that there are many opinions about what it means, but it naturally has an impact on SCADA solutions in general as well. So the needs. So what we hear when we're out there is that there's several needs here. It's a need for more data. It's a need for better data acquisition, probably, and there's a need also for more people having access to what goes on the factory floor. All of that impacts the SCADA system and how it's put together and whatnot.
Yeah.
So what we hear out there and the idea behind SCADA by Enuda, well, it had to have a name, so we call it that, SCADA by Enuda, until we come up with something better. Um, but it all comes down to numerous talks I have had with both existing clients and potential clients, and they all say, and I agree with them 100%. They say any new SCADA system or anything we might do on the SCADA front involves two costs from our side. So one is the license package, and the other one is the engineering cost or the work package to get the things implemented and get the functionality that you're looking for. And we agree to that, of course. And so the the fact is we only work with the Ignition platform, and Ignition has a transparent and a very competitive license price model. The pricing model is super attractive. All clients agree to that, and it's very transparent. I show it directly when I sit with the client, And then we come to the other part, the engineering part. And I've heard several of our competitors say, who are not working with Ignition, they say, yeah, we acknowledge that Ignition has a competitive license price, but forget about the license price. It all drowns in engineering. I find that horrible. It is so goddamn arrogant. I just can't
It
stand
is.
it. Yeah. It's like saying, yeah. We are so expensive, so don't worry. We'll destroy your business anyway.
Yeah.
So that was the idea behind this when we set out on this journey to do something in a different way. So so what is the problem we're trying to solve? The problem is super easy to explain. You have two costs when you want to implement a SCADA system. License packets, okay, that's attractive, interesting and transparent license model. Take that one off. And the engineering cost, which is absolutely opposite of transparent, and it's huge and it's impossible to estimate, and nobody will give you a fixed price. But one thing they all know for sure is it's going to get expensive.
Yeah.
Expensive equals high risk, so it's difficult to get started. So we said, what can we do to reduce the engineering cost? How can we reduce the amount of engineering hours going into a SCADA system, and therefore also reduce the price, and therefore at the end, of course, reduce the risk? So the problem we set out to solve was simply reduce the engineering cost of implementing a SCADA system.
Yeah.
That's the purpose of SCADA by Enuda.
Absolutely. And what did we do?
So what we did do was we spent a lot of time talking with clients, and what do you have, and we looked around and we looked for best practices on the design front and so on and so forth, and we looked back in history on all the things that we have done, and then we realized that at the end of the day, you could actually have a toolbox. Think about it as a toolbox. I call it also a small storage room. So if you had a small storage room, it's a bit like if you want to make dinner, right? You want to make dinner at night, and you forgot to make your weekly plan, but you want to make dinner, and you look into your fridge and you look into your cupboards and on your shelves and whatnot. And say, so what do I have? Do I have something that would be a great starting point? So
Mm.
it's a toolbox where we have things pre-made on the shelves in order to think in a plug and play sense. So,
Mm.
like we know from many other types of software, this is plug and play. So we reduce the engineering hours in the specific SCADA project. That's
Yeah.
what we created. Um, and today, SCADA by Enuda is ready in version 1.0, and that will be, we can even imagine a whole development train to this. This is going to be cool. But it consists of two things actually. So one thing is we call it the repository. That's our storage room, if you like, our toolbox where we have everything on the shelf. All kinds of solutions that we built over time, and then we made them nice and made it work. And the other thing is we took bits and pieces of that and actually made a demo that we used to present some of this to clients
Mm.
or to potential clients. So
Yeah.
there's it's two parts. It's a big toolbox of pre-made things for plug and play. So think about it as a plug and play SCADA system, a Lego SCADA system.
Yeah.
That's a good analogy. And then on top of that, a small demo to show some of it.
Mm. But what about the customization part?
Yeah, there will be a need for customization. There will be a need for adapting things to the individual client specifications and whatnot. But it's like it's on a scale. So in most cases you start with a from a blank slate, and you start on build to order, and you say, okay, so what, dear client, what would you like to have? And then you just build everything from scratch. In the other end of the spectrum, you have full software solutions that you cannot twist in any way. So we are somewhere on the spectrum there, and the idea is not, that's important. The idea is not to deliver a SCADA system that you can just install and then you can't do anything. That would, nothing could be
Mm.
further from the truth. But the idea is to give you as a client the building blocks, and we will of course put them together for you in a way where we reduce the engineering hours tremendously. That's the basic idea of SCADA by Enuda.
Mm. Yeah. So what I'm hearing is that we're not starting from a clear canvas, we're not starting from scratch, and that makes the whole thing more transparent and more affordable, but we're still keeping a good degree of flexibility to the
Yeah.
solution to adapt it to the needs of the specific client.
Yes, absolutely. And one super good example that we use all the time is there's colors. You might not think that's an important thing in a SCADA system, but you would be amazed about how many and how long discussions you can have about colors of anything from pipes to symbols to whatever. And we have made the building blocks here in according to the what is the industry standard. But then some clients say, yeah, but we don't really. Yeah, we know. Yeah, we know that, but we don't. Yeah, we don't. We want something else, and it's super easy to change. So
Mm.
that's a part of the customization,
Yeah,
and things can have different sizes and it will be organized differently, and some will need something more complicated and whatnot. But I had an interesting presentation about a few weeks back where I was sitting with a manufacturing company, and I showed him what we have, and he said, okay, um, you have 100% of the objects and components that I need to cover my process.
yeah,
um, I don't like your colors. And I said, that's because we don't use colors. That's the industry standard. It's gray and gray. Oh, that's okay. I don't like gray and gray then. I like colors. Yeah, but we can fix that. that's
yeah,
that's doable. But the idea is to invite the potential client into this storage room and have a look around on the shelves, saying, if you can live with the components and the objects we have here and the things we have built, then we can make you a SCADA system at a very, very affordable price.
yeah. An effective and smart SCADA system in that.
Yeah, and we make sure that actually the things fit together because they are pre-made.
Yeah,
So it's no different from if you want to build yourself a new house, you buy some land somewhere and you say, I want to, you buy 1,000 or 2,000 square meters of land and you want to build a house. Well, you have two options. You probably have more, but you can call an architect and an engineer and say, I have an idea for a house and whatever, and it will get you to a house eventually, but it
yeah.
will be expensive.
Mm.
Or you could also call some of the companies that have specialized in saying, "Oh, we have 5 different types of houses, and you can have an impact on, or you can design a number of things." But there are, most of it is pre-made,
Yeah,
and that reduced the price.
yeah, yeah, that makes
So
sense.
yeah, so that's the whole idea. We do both. So
Yeah, alrighty. Let's take a look then. You
yeah,
sent me
let's
a
let's
demo.
let's let's have a look at the not the storage room, because that would not make any sense. But let's have a look at the demo thing. And we did this demo thing simply because it's good to have something to talk about.
Oh, look
And
at
it
that.
it looks like this, and that is exactly where this potential client, he said, I don't like the colors, and I get that because there are no colors, and they are so used to all kinds of colors that this gray and gray, which is the industry standard called high performance HMI,
Yeah,
um, can have this impact that people don't like it. But the let's do a quick run through here. So what we did was we took some of the bits and pieces from this toolbox and put that into a small SCADA system just for demo purposes. And as we, a number of us like beer, we built it around a small microbrewery. So this is actually a batch process running a brewery where you have a water intake, and you do the mashing in the first tank, and then you do the boiling in the second tank, and you do the cooling in the third tank. So all of that was just for fun,
Yeah.
to show the things here. But the important thing is that we have some standard components, objects, that you will find in any SCADA system. Here's a motor. Here's another type of motor, and you have valves, and you have a PID controller, and you have a digital thing here, and different types of objects. We have a menu line here up at the top, which we use all
Mm.
the time. All of this is done, and we of course have the face plates to go along with this, and all the logic behind the alarming and whatnot is pre-made here.
Yeah.
So you can say, or if you if you look at a manufacturing process, and you are not a microbrewery, then the process does not fit. But I guarantee you will not find a SCADA user that do not have these components in one form or the other. A frequency control motor, they will all say, yeah, that's good, we need that. A PID control, yeah, we need that. Valves and so on. So all of this is done, and yeah, of course, we have faceplates for all of it. We've made faceplates for the PID controller, and you can do the setup and everything. We have the alarming logic on the backside. We cheated a little bit. Making a batch of beer is about 3 hours. We boiled that down to 3 minutes, and can run a simulation here. You can see now I'm filling the tank with water here. And so we see the process value here going up, and that's another part of the high performance HMI. We're using a very simple trick here, that all process values are highlighted a little bit, have a bigger font, and they are dark blue. We have another trick here where you can actually see that we use here you see the motor started now, so it changed its state. So it changes color because it's there, and I can actually simulate an alarm on that motor. So that looks like this. So we have all the alarming logic behind all of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, then we of course have the alarm status table. We can have a look at alarms. We can do historical alarm analysis through the alarm journal. All of this. We build in the trend tool, which is the power chart in ignition.
Yeah.
You can add more. It's called pens, more values here to your trend tool, and analyze things. All of this stored in a historical database, and we have that on the backside as well, in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I will reset. So the boiling process is over, and now we move into the cooling process. But let's just reset the process. That's not super interesting. So essentially, what we've done, we solved the problem. That is that many clients understand that it would be valuable to us to upgrade or change our SCADA system to something new based on new principles and whatever, and they see the value of ignition simply because they see the flexibility and the versatility of ignition, and the license price is enormously competitive and interesting, but they fear the engineering cost, and they are right in doing so. They are absolutely not wrong.
Yeah.
Historically, that has been a terrible story.
Hmm.
And that is what we set out to do. Can we do anything to reduce that?
Yeah. And make a SCADA solution available and accessible to everyone.
Yeah, to everyone in as building blocks, instead of making a fixed product where you say, okay, this is what it is. So what you see is what you get. You can't change anything, and so on and so forth. We
Mm,
don't believe in that. We believe in giving people freedom of choice and flexibility. So we went down the route of building blocks instead.
yeah, yeah. This reminds me of the idea of not being locked into your SCADA system,
Yeah,
which is another thing that clients really appreciate with Ignition.
yeah, absolutely. You're not locked in, and that's also why we are so keen on putting this together uh, in cooperation with the client, because it doesn't make any sense that we come there, build all of this, say, here you are, here are the keys to your new SCADA system, have luck, and good luck with this and have fun. Now it needs to be something where we do things together so that they can actually do things um, in the future on this.
Yeah,
That's very important.
this is super awesome. I'm really excited about this entire journey. And I would ask you what are the next steps, but what we have so far looks pretty good. And like you said, the development process is an ever evolving process. This is version one, but so far it looks amazing.
Yeah, it looks amazing, and you have to think this is like the iceberg. This is the tip of the iceberg. So that's the 10% that you see here. The interesting thing actually happens in the background.
Mm.
That's the storage room where we have all these all the solutions behind all of this. Um, yeah, and the next steps. Well, we have so many ideas for things that we want to add to the storage room, so that we just have more things on the shelf. So when the client asks, "What do you have on the shelf?" Well, we have more things to use as a Lego, a box of Lego. We're just
Yeah,
making the box bigger.
yeah,
That's the whole idea.
absolutely. And we'll be ready to dig in.
Yeah, that's the that's the idea. That's the idea.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your interest,
And
and thank you for having me.
yeah, see you next time.
See ya.